Hello, everybody. Hello. Again, we have with us Judge Andrew Napolitano. This is a guy, a man of men, that I want to see as President of the United States. And here's why. Because once upon a time, there used to be a thing called the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, they're robbing us of both our Bill of Rights and our Constitution. And Judge Napolitano, if anybody could show me anybody that knows about it, the facts about it, what it was, where it is, and where it's going, other than Judge Napolitano, let me know, because there's nobody that I know, or that I know of anybody knows, that knows the Constitution and the Bill of Rights more than him. And that's what we have to bring back to America, because that's what's been stolen from us. You're nothing but a little boy or girl. I'm the politician. I'll tell you what to do. What do you mean a revolution? Fighting against the king? No, the king is back. Hey, what does Trump call himself? The king, eh? Judge, thanks for being here.
Pleasure to be with you, Gerald. Thank you for your generous introduction. Trump keeps giving us example after example after example of his indifference or ignorance of the Constitution.
You have your article, Public Safety in the Presidency. And before we go on, this isn't about hating Trump. And the judge has the articles in here of the other pieces of scum presidents that invented this crap to steal our rights. So it ain't about just Trump. And that's what your column is that's coming out tomorrow. And again, everybody that wants to know what's going on that you don't see anywhere else with the people that he has on, you want to go to Judging Freedom. And Judge,
one of the things I attack in the column is the Department of Homeland Security. These are the guys in black shirts and masks. This was not started by Trump. This was started by George W. Bush. So we already have an unconstitutional federal police department called the FBI. Bush decided that wasn't enough, so they created the Department of Homeland Security, 10 times the size of the FBI. So now we have a second federal police department, neither of which is recognized or authorized under the Constitution.
And who brought us the FBI?
Woodrow Wilson brought us the FBI, and then, of course, it exploded in size under FDR and then continued to increase in size under every president since then. But prior to Woodrow Wilson, crimes were addressed by the states. But Wilson, of course, turned the Madisonian principle on its head. The Madisonian, as in James Madison, principle of government was the federal government is limited to the 16 areas of power directly given in the Constitution to the Congress, and everything else is for the states. The Wilsonian view turns that on its head and says the federal government can do whatever there is a political will for it to do, except for that which is prohibited by the Constitution. So under Wilson, the government began to spread its wings in enormous directions that Madison could never have imagined, not the least of which was the first federal agent hired to run this federal Department of Investigation named John Edgar Hoover.
Yep. And again, I mean, you're a guy that graduated from Princeton. Wasn't Woodrow Wilson the president of Princeton College?
He was, and his name has been removed from every conceivable place. Not because he gave us World War I, not because he gave us the income tax, not because he gave us the administrative state, not because he gave us the FBI, not because he gave us the Federal Reserve, but because he was a racist.
Yeah, I was thinking of the name. When have you ever met a person with the name Woodrow?
That was actually his middle name. His real name was Thomas Woodrow Wilson.
Oh,
He was raised by Virginia aristocrats. He was an undergraduate at Princeton, got his PhD at Princeton, became a professor at Princeton, became the president of Princeton, became the governor of New Jersey for just 18 months, and then ran for the White House, won, got reelected, had a stroke in the first year of his second term, and his wife was effectively the president during that time period.
what did you say was his family? You said, what were they?
Virginia. There were Virginia aristocrats.
Aristocrats.
Yes.
You mean rich people that probably stole money from other people to get themselves?
They stole it from slaves. His family owned slaves. Until this is before he was born, until the Civil War.
Yeah. Again, FDR. How about FUCKR? A piece of scum that people look up to. A little bastard that gave us. Like I said, he really made the FBI big, but he also brought us into World War II.
Correct.
And people have no idea, again, about him stealing all Japanese assets in America. Him, the British, and the Dutch cutting off 3/4 of Japan's global trade and 88% of their imported oil because those dirty Japanese invaded French Indochina.
Well, we now know that FDR and his crew knew that Pearl Harbor was coming. We now know that they intentionally provoked it because FDR needed an excuse to get into World War II.
And again, when all else fails, they take you to war. People forget the Great Depression was going on.
Correct.
They're all pieces of scum to me, And again, this article you have, there's so much great information in it. And it's about, you started off with Trump, what's going on in D.C. And again, by the way, at 28 years old, I was staying at the Willard Hotel in D.C.
Ooh.
Putting my meetings on at the...
That is a lovely place, whether you're 28 or 78. 28 years old living in the Willard.
Yeah.
You were an aristocrat.
I was killing environmental legislation. I was a chief government affairs specialist for the chemical industry. And again, if I wasn't on the other side, I wouldn't know. I started growing up at around 32 years old. That's when I quit. But anyway, I was in D.C. putting on my meetings at the Hay Adams, and that's right across. That's the top place for the lobbyists, right across from the White House. D.C. was a beautiful place. And then I did the talk in, I think it was 2023 for Rage Against the War Machine. And I couldn't believe how low D.C. had fallen. Well, the traffic circles homeless everywhere. And what nobody's talking about, and this is Trump wants to get rid of them. It wasn't like this before they launched the COVID war and locked down everything.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about this. Look, you're in New York City. You see any homeless around there, Judge?
Yes.
See any people shooting up drugs?
I don't see them, but friends of mine have seen them. There's no question but that it goes on. It's really gone downhill since the COVID days. There's no question about it.
Yep. And nobody talks about this. And we warned about this. Yeah. When people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. And that's what happened. So anyway, your article begins here about what Trump is doing in D.C. So tell us more about this.
Well, Trump has taken over the police department of the District of Columbia by flooding it with federal agents who are untrained to perform ordinary police work. Last week, he ordered the commissioner of police removed and appointed a politician in charge. And a federal judge, after the city sued, said, look, I'm prepared to rule against the president of the United States. I think you two lawyers should work something out. And the DOJ backed down rather than suffer the ignominy of having a federal judge restrain the president. So the police commissioner, they call her the chief rather than the commissioner, woman, but a serious, experienced police person is still in charge. Trump has boasted that Washington, without any evidence, that Washington, D.C. in 4 days has gone from being the worst city in the United States to the best. This is just one of his typical boasts without any evidence whatsoever. But then he says, I'm going to do the same thing in Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles. He doesn't have the authority to take over the police department in Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles. Public safety is not a federal function. Madison intentionally left that to the states and believed he was safeguarding state sovereignty in the 10th Amendment. B, public safety, health, safety, welfare, and morality is expressly a state function. He can do it in D.C. because D.C. is owned by the federal government. He can't do it. He can't do it in other cities, even though he is apparently going to try. It's a form of megalomania. It's a form of, I will make these cities look the way I think they should look. It's a form of expanding the already bloated and unconstitutionally expanded powers of the American presidency, which began under Woodrow Wilson and extended under FDR and have grown under every president since. Many of these powers grew under your friend little Georgie Bush because of 9/11. Congress gave him whatever the hell he wanted, including the Department of Homeland Security. Did you know that the feds command a plainclothed, while they wear khakis and black shirts and masks, police department of 160,000 police, not a single one of whom is authorized by the Constitution? That's DHS.
And they steal our money to do this.
Yes.
And think about it. Tell me the great achievements of the FBI and Homeland Security.
Oh, I'll tell you what they are. They set up their own phony crimes. They execute a sting on a person. They talk some miserable, depressed loner into thinking he's going to blow up the subway. They give him a barrel of talcum powder and tell him it's explosive. Then they tell him to ignite the stuff with all kinds of cameras watching, and then they swoop down and stop him at the last minute and take credit for keeping us safe from a guy blowing up talcum powder. You can't make this up. It happens over and over and over again. That's what the FBI has succeeded in doing.
It's so sad. Judge, tell us more about, you say after George W. Bush administration, you talked about the Homeland Security, and you say what you just said about they wear black shirts and masks and arrest people
without a search, without arrest warrants.
Without arrest warrants. So let's not call them Homeland Security. Why don't we call them the Gestapo?
They are the closest thing to Gestapo we have in the United States. The FBI are required to identify themselves and to show you their credentials at the time they have a confrontation with you. DHS is not. The FBI are prohibited from wearing masks. DHS is not. The DHS people will grab you in a street, handcuff you, throw you in a van, and they won't even tell you who they are or why they're stopping you. They don't have search warrants. They don't have arrest warrants. They have an administrative warrant, which most judges believe are unconstitutional. They then take you to a detention facility, sometimes as much as 1,000 miles from the place where they've arrested you, and you sit there hoping that somebody will allow you to reach a lawyer. That's what DHS is doing.
You talk about Trump. You should see the things he's been saying recently. And by the way, again, I only write the facts in the Trends Journal magazine. And the reason we have all of these illegal immigrants, they wanted cheap labor. Go to Walmart, I don't go to Walmart, but go to Walmart, go to Marshall's, go to any of these places, and you see signs outside, help wanted, part-time or full-time. They're paying the people nothing. They wanted all this cheap labor to come in here. That's why they let them come in. All right, so you let them come in, and now you're throwing them out. All right, you don't want more to come in, fine. But arresting these innocent people and throwing them in jail for nothing, to me, is a disgrace.
Particularly when they break up families, particularly when some of these people have been here for 20 years. The kids are as American as apple pie. Suddenly the parents are in jail because the father is a gardener or a laborer who scraped by. It's unhumanitarian. It's wrong. It's wrong. You want to stop people from coming in, stop them. Yeah. This is what Reagan did in 1986 when the congressman's name was, you'll love this name, Romano Mazzoli from Kentucky. The Mazzoli-Simpson statute. Romano Mazzoli in the House, Alan Simpson in the Congress. Reagan signed the law, a blanket amnesty. Whoever is here, however you got here, you're here lawfully. You're here legally.
Yeah.
At that point, they could have stopped people from coming in, but they did make legal everybody who was here. Now we're back to the point where Trump wants to throw people out, particularly if their skin is dark.
Yeah. Hey, I better get out of the sun.
You better wear a t-shirt when you're watering that garden of yours.
Trump said the other day, I want to try to get to heaven, if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well. I am really at the bottom of the totem pole. But if I can get to heaven, this will be one of the reasons, whatever that means. Go to heaven, you go to hell. How many people have you killed? How many people have you killed? You brag about killing that guy Soleimani when you were president the last time. Oh, he was an Iranian. I could kill him. Hey, how about all the people you killed in Yemen? Oh, I forgot the bombs away over Iran that you killed.
How about
stealing our money and supporting the genocide in Gaza?
Right.
And not only that, Judge, he brags about it. Mr. Trump, this is your buddy over there, that clown guy on, what's his name? On Fox, Levin, what that guy?
Oh, Mark Levin?
Yeah.
Oh, he's no buddy of mine.
I know. I was being.
Yeah, he hates people who think the way you and I and everybody watching us.
Oh, an arrogant piece of shit. An arrogant piece of shit. To make it clear, that's all he is. Who the hell is this guy to tell me what I should support the genocide in Gaza? Oh, I'm Jewish. I'm Levin. Oh, fuck you. I could care what religion you are. And again, every day I thank the people of my life that passed on. Bert Feinstein, Al Balatin, Mr. and Mrs. Rosenblatt, Jesse Reamer, Kenny Young, one Jewish person after another in my life that had been so good to me. And again, 3 of my last 4 girlfriends were Jewish. So this crap about being Jewish and if I hate Jews because of the genocide. I don't want to hear this crap. So anyway, he goes on to say to him, Trump said Mr. Netanyahu is, quote, a good man. He goes on, he's a war hero because we work together. He's a war hero. You ready? And Trump said of the Israeli leader, and then he said, I guess I am too. A war hero? You got 5 drafter fragments during the Vietnam War. What war hero? Oh, you like Netanyahu's genocide? You're calling him a war hero? This is the mentality. And that little scumbag Levin, he loves him. This is the shit show that everybody could tune into by watching the mainstream media. But if you want to see the truth, you go to Judging Freedom. This is disgraceful, Judge.
Well, this is what you see in the mainstream media, particularly where I used to work. I mean, anybody that praises Netanyahu is demented. Netanyahu is one of the worst monsters of the modern era, who has slaughtered tens of thousands of innocents, and The American taxpayer has funded all of it.
Hey, this is from Haaretz today. Israel approves settlement construction plan to divide West Bank. Smotrich, erasing the Palestinian state. They're not settlers. They're invaders. They're murderers in violation of the Geneva Convention and Article 242 of the United Nations.
Right.
Who made up this word settlers? They're invaders. And then on anti-war, they do a great job at DeCamp, Dave DeCamp. This is two of the articles. Israeli military to call up 60,000 reservists as it prepares for Gaza City ethnic cleansing campaign. Another article. Under the plan, the IDF will forcibly evacuate 1 million civilians from the city. Do you know that there are over 2 million people living in Gaza, and 1 million of them are children? Israel forces kill 50 Palestinians in Gaza over the last 24 hours. All right? Where's the outrage?
I don't know how this ends. I mean, it would take a Thomas Massie in the White House for this to end, or some dramatic outside force, the Egyptians, the Turks, the Iranians.
Yeah, they're not doing anything.
No, they're not.
Nope.
They fight back when they're attacked, but nobody's defending the Palestinians.
Other than the Yemenis, the Houthis.
Right. Well, the Houthis scared the daylights out of Pete Hegseth and his $500 million worth of bombs.
And it goes here, nowhere to go, no money, no way to survive. Gaza City residents await displacement or death. Fleeing Gaza City ahead of the IDF impending ground invasion is a luxury many cannot afford. And some are injured or too weak for hunger to walk to safe zones. That's from Haaretz, an Israeli newspaper.
Right.
They are reporting the horrors being committed, but nothing talked about barely in the American media.
Right.
And then again, of course, now here's the cover of the this week's Trends Journal about
Alaska.
Yep. Truth or consequences. Remember, Trump said that Putin's going to suffer serious consequences. He doesn't have a peace deal when they met at the summit. So there was no truth from what Trump was saying and no consequences for Putin. And
whoever does your covers, and maybe I'm talking to the person who does them, is a genius.
well, I come up with the language of it, and this guy, PJ, does the cover. But the fact is, we said from the beginning that Russia is not going to give back the land that they've taken. And the land that they've taken is in the Donbass region, was basically Russian people.
Right.
That the Ukrainians killed, over 15,000 of them.
Correct.
Before Putin launched the military offensive.
And the Ukrainians made it illegal. Could you imagine this? How the hell could you enforce this? Illegal to speak Russian.
Yeah. So we said that this is just going to, just like Trump BS'd about making a nuclear deal with Iran, and saying that he was going to make a deal with them. And that guy, Jerkoff, I forgot his name. I think it's Jerkoff. They kept going back and forth, how they're coming almost to an agreement. And then all of a sudden, bombs away over Iran.
Right. While negotiating.
Yep.
So why
lie.
Why would Putin trust Trump?
Yep. Judge, we're in a serious situation here. Yes, and I'm very concerned about what's going to happen. And I believe Netanyahu is going to keep ramping up these wars. He'll do anything to stay in power. Over 1 million people went to the streets in Israel last Sunday.
Wow.
Meant nothing. Meant nothing. Again, I make this really clear. The only way you could change a government is you have to protest and you can't leave. And the proof is there with the bringing down of the Berlin Wall. The people went there. They didn't leave. More people came. They didn't leave. More and more and more, week after week, until they brought down the wall. And that's what has to happen. You can't do it one day and call it a day.
Right.
So, Judge, thank you for everything that you're doing. The man that should be the president of the United States to bring back our rights of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights that have been stolen from us by little low-life pieces of scum called presidents. And again, go back to Woodrow Wilson, go back to FDR, or is it F-U-C-K? Yeah, FDR. Go back to Truman. Oh, you like the Hiroshima and Nagasaki? Yeah, slaughtering all those people. Oh, one after another, one murderer after another. Bill Clinton. You like the Yugoslav war? No, you like when Madeleine Albright said the price of 500,000 Iraqi children dead because what Clinton did was, quote, worth the price? You like Obama's military, the wars in Afghanistan, the troop surge, when he lied his way into office, got rid of Gaddafi, ruined Libya, ruined Syria? Keep going on. One after another. We need the judge for president to bring back peace, freedom, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness that this country was founded upon. Judge, thanks for being here. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Gerald. All the best.